Welcome back to our podcast on ValueMetrics.tv, powered by ValueMetrics.ai. Today, we're thrilled to have with us Harsha Banwari Peter, Vice President HR with Cornerstone India. Thanks, Harsha, for joining us. It's a pleasure to meet you. It would be nice if you could introduce yourself to our audiences.
Thank you, Vandana. Really honored to be on this podcast and in conversation with you, and thanks to Value Matrix. So, if I look back at where I started, never had I imagined that being a student of sociology, I'll be working so closely with humans, with people, and culture, because that's really where the groundbreaking interest in working with people, about people, why people do certain things really took into motion. I have been fortunate to have had learned it with all the three organizations that have been, be it Aeon, really was the effort, that started from the organization's front, and then of course trying to put in whatever I could over there for about 11 years, and then moved on to ZS Associates as the HR director there, been there for about 8 years, and then now with Cornerstone On Demand.
Thank you, Harsha. If Harsha were to write a book and the book ended with AI and I lived happily ever after, what would that book be about?
I do have a book. I don't speak about it publicly. It would all be about unboxing every little chapter, starting with the what of AI to where it ended, and what every page would mean and read would be a page in my chapter, whether it's learning, breaking, falling down. But again, it's always been a tool that has helped me, and there is just so much to unravel in the mystery of AI. We are all using it in one way or the other. It's impacting us in our day to day lives. Why unboxing also is because I would like to remove the fear around it. Biggest question that I always get because of the role that I play is it going to take our jobs, and how does it impact talent in the market?
When do we get to see it?
Yeah, so it is actually published, but there is some more review going on, so some more changes yet to happen, and then it'll be on Amazon.
Lovely, Harsha. Congratulations. Something that
Thank
really
you.
will help and resonate with almost everyone, right? Whether whichever industry,
Yeah.
whichever domain they're working in. So one of the questions I had for you was that there's a lot of metrics around AI revolutionizing the way the people function, especially when it comes to hiring and productivity improvement. I have seen a lot of reports, Gartner's, Forrester's, a lot of reports talking about this
Yeah.
42% increase in the productivity itself in hiring because of the advent of AI. Are we at some level compromising on quality over speed? What are your thoughts on that?
It is definitely a tricky path, Vandana, based on, my experience and what we have been using as well. We all live it day to day. I see it as from two different lenses. One is definitely it has helped a lot of tasks which are now automated, which improvises quality. By that, I mean like a scheduler's task, just sending invite, giving a few options to candidates. These are the slots available with the interviewer. Which one would you like to choose? And they choose, and then the invite goes out. Sharing maybe, feedback from the prior interviewers to the current interviewer. Many organizations have started using it and are benefiting big time. But the area which is a slippery slope is screening for sure, because if you use AI for screening, which is also currently that we do, but there is still a manual intervention needed, because the other side, which is the candidates, are also using AI to prepare resumes. How much can AI filter is again mechanical, based on what has been fed in the resume versus somebody really being a fit in the candidature for the role that we are looking out for. And hence, the manual intervention is still very much needed to keep the quality of the candidate up. And secondly, to also not miss out on candidates which would have actually not used AI but had a self made resume, but are missing out because of the aspects that AI would have heightened in the other resumes. So these are areas which I wouldn't say are completely wrong when people say that quality can get impacted for candidature. There is a big debate. We should be considering candidates in what form, if they use AI for resume making or for tests or preparations. And is that wrong to do or is that right to do? If you ask me, I think I would rather appreciate somebody doing that, because then you know they have the skills which are required for our organization as well. And for how long, can you just avoid candidates really doing away from not using AI for resumes or even for preparation or even for tests? We should accept what candidature is bringing in, and then be smarter about either giving good input to AI to do better filtering, or then continue with manual intervention till the AI is smart enough to do your job. So both ways it's good, but it's definitely a lot to achieve on that front.
Like you said, yes, at the entry point itself, if we're going to lose a lot of people because we're trying to do a JD match with that profile, and the JD is written in such a, we've begun and there's a journey involved before we can get to those places where we can say with a little more confidence that, yeah, I'm sure this has done its work. So tell us, Harsha, as a leadership development person as well with your organization, what have been the challenges that you have faced? Is it lack of leadership, or do you see that when things are changing, the leaders who performed well in the past are actually having to cope with a lot of change? I just want to understand how AI is helping in this area.
I think I'm fortunate to be at Cornerstone at this point where so much is changing. And being in HR tech, you are customer zero. So a lot of it comes to you firsthand, and a lot gets experimented with internal HR teams, and you get to use it, give feedback, and also go in front of the customers to talk about the products as well. And a couple of things are doing great work, because one is the use of tech and use of AI. And I'll give probably one example, which is the use of virtual reality through videos and through immersive experiences, which is going really big, whether it's people leaders, managers, new managers, or even the ones, who have been working with people for very, very long. What happens is when you are in a tricky people situation, or when you have to share feedback, there is never a nervous moment gone by, because you want to do it right. So this is how far leadership coaching has gone. But aside of this, I think a lot of, again, administrative tasks is what leaders use AI for, and I myself do that in whatever ways possible, and wherever it's integrally good to do so. Of course, there is a lot of confidential information sometimes that leaders work in. That's where, your internal policies can guide you, or your ethical policies guide you, on what to really use AI versus not, especially in leadership roles. I see this as a big game changer, and in fact, a huge support. It's almost like having an admin assistant without having one and without having to pay for one. There's always this discussion about culture, culture addition, culture alignment. Does it really matter where people come from, or what their work style is, or what kind of work ethics they bring with them? Does it really impact the way we our productivity or performance, or whatever you'd like to measure? So, if you could tell me about what you are hearing or seeing again about the importance of culture within an organization, and have you seen any AI helping us get better people in, or helping us build the culture? How do you see AI actually stepping in to help us maintain this that we create with a lot of hard work and passion? Yes, true. This is one aspect which I'm still trying to explore a lot, and I think a long way to go for. And especially being a student of sociology, culture comes very, very close to my heart. You rightly said, you don't need to belong to a similar culture to be a part of the organization, because you need diversity. But once you step in, you want to also feel one community, and that's where culture steps in, and that's what's spoken about all the time, right? When candidature is spoken to, or when onboarding is happening, or when they start working with a team. AI's role currently, like I said, is still to my mind, getting explored here, because this is something which is much more closer to human personalities and has a lot of impact through personal interactions and will continue to do so. Only aspect could be probably from observations on somebody really creating an impact on the softer skills through the culture that an organization holds or not. My general observation has been that most organizations try to have culture and values related to collaboration, ethics, innovation, so that gives a wide arena for people to perform and also not feel restricted, because culture is not policy and culture is not process, which is why the limitation for it to get automated is definitely a larger impact versus something which is more administrative, and AI is able to make a huge impact there. I would rather feel and hope that the contribution from human resources and from every leader or a people manager continues to be big. And the last aspect there would also be that in these times, I think organizations may have to think of a little bit of agility in what we had probably established 15 years ago. Do we need to change, or do we need to make it a little more mirroring, probably the newer generations that are coming into the workforce, and not make it a battle for them to feel one with the culture and the values of the organization? We have too many generations in the workforce now, and everybody will have to accept and help the newer generations that are coming to work. The culture of an organization will probably need some rethinking, if not already done. Some may fit, some may need some change. I don't know whether through AI or through general thinking, but definitely something to ponder about for all organizations.
So wonderful, Harsha. Thank you so much and for your time and for sharing your thoughts with us, Harsha. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and it's wonderful that you are doing this, and it's always great for myself also to learn from the fraternity, to learn from peers, and of course business leaders, because you have to continue to grow through learning and knowing from each other. It's a fast changing world, and I think videos are the best ways to learn.